Ariel Ortiz at the Obesity Control Center. Let's see, my height weight was somewhere up around 315, like maybe up to 325. I don't know because my scale did not go up that high. When I booked my surgery, I weighed 301.8 pounds. Day of surgery, I weighed 272. And today I weighed in at 168.1 pounds. So a loss of 1.8 pounds since my last weigh-in and a total loss of 133.7 pounds. So I know I promised you guys I would do an update from New York and I totally didn't. So that's, my bad. New York was awesome though. I got to hang out with my little brother. We did Statue of Liberty. We went to Ellis Island. I had texted him. I had a big list of stuff that I wanted to do in New York. And a lot of the stuff that I wanted to do was not necessarily like the traditional touristy, like going to museums or, the Brooklyn Bridge, things like that. It was, I don't know if this is, I want to say that it's like, it's my inner fat girl that still does this, but I love food. I mean, it's one of the reasons why food was my drug of choice for so long and why I ended up weighing over 300 pounds. So I love Food Network, and a lot of the stuff that I wanted to do in New York was try different things from restaurants or places that I had seen on TV, like mostly Food Network, but sometimes, like Cooking Channel or whatever. So, we did some of that. So I got to have a rainbow bagel from the bagel store, and that was awesome. My brother's boyfriend and his friends, or family and everybody was sort of horrified because I felt like they were, I loved it. Like the rainbow bagel was everything that I wanted it to be. It tasted like a normal bagel. It's very, to me, it reminded me more like the West Coast style of bagel as opposed to like a New York bagel. And they had the different flavored schmears, so I got my rainbow bagel with Oreo cream cheese schmear, which is basically like Oreo frosting. And it was exactly what I wanted it to be. It was this ridiculous desserty bagel thing. But they were horrified and they were like, oh my God, at least, you have to have a regular New York bagel. And I did. And I love bagels. Frankly, I love carbohydrates, So, anyway, so that was great. I loved the rainbow bagel. I loved my traditional New York bagel that we got a couple of times because they were fantastic and I loved them. We stood in line, we got up early so we could be in Manhattan at 7:30 in the morning so we could stand in line and get a cronut, which was delicious, but I can see why it's, I don't know, there's, if you live in the area, it's I don't want to, I got up at 5:45 so that I could get dressed and be at my little brother's apartment so that we could get on the train, and get these cronuts. So it was kind of like an ordeal, but at the same time, I'm like, come on, I'm not gonna get a cronut in Portland. I want a legit cronut. So anyway, so that was fun. So we did that kind of stuff. I weighed myself when I got back from New York, and I didn't gain any weight, but I didn't lose any weight in New York, which was kind of sad because I was definitely getting 25,000 steps in every day. But that's probably because, in addition to just letting myself eat all this junk that I don't normally eat, because cronuts and bagels and whatnot, it was basically not quite a year since my surgery. And when I was originally doing the research for my surgery, I came across a study that had said that weight loss surgery patients who waited a year before they started drinking had the same rate of alcoholism as the general population, but those who started drinking prior to that had an increased rate of alcoholism. And I was worried, knowing just how much I used food as a coping mechanism, I was worried that I was gonna be in that category where I was predisposed to becoming an alcoholic. And I was like, well, I don't want to go from being fat to being an alcoholic. So I decided to wait a year to start drinking. While I was in New York, I had my first like official drinks. And I used to be able to drink a ton, you know, like I'm not overly stoked of the fact that like, oh yeah, I could totally kill a bottle of wine or two on my own in one night, you know. But so we, you know, went out with my little brother, had a beer with dinner, and then later on, so a couple hours later, we went to a bar and I had 2 more beers over the course of a couple hours, and then a martini, because we didn't realize it was going to be a martini. But I was so hungover the next day. So basically from 6 p.m. to midnight, I had a total of 4 drinks. And like, so yeah, in 6 hours I had 4 drinks. And I was like, I wasn't blackout drunk, or, you know, what I would normally call like shwasted, but I was drunk, you know. And then the next morning I was super hungover. So that was not fun. And that was also kind of like oh right, drinking is fun, but drinking to excess and being hungover, like the hangover totally sucks. You know, it wasn't fun. I felt really gross. You know, eventually, like, I took a nap, and my little brother had a little ice mask thing, and I took ibuprofen, and then I woke up and I felt like 1,000% better, and it was fine. But it was just like, oh yeah, like this last year of not drinking, I haven't had to be hungover, and it turns out not being hungover is awesome. Who knew? So that was kind of like the big things that I did while I was in New York. Oh my gosh, I know I promised you I would do a New York video and then I didn't, but since my 1-year official Surgiversary is April 6th, so that will be Wednesday, I really want to do another video for you then, hopefully going a little more in depth about, like, you know, like my 1-year thoughts and goals and what I've achieved and maybe what I didn't achieve. Also because that way, hopefully I can get up and actually do it in my house, as opposed to right now where I'm working a 16-hour shift today, so I slept in as long as possible and I'm having to do this video from my car. But yeah, so that's where we're at right now. I'm feeling pretty good. I missed drinking, but I did not miss being hungover. That totally sucked. But anyway, I'll check in with you guys later. Bye.